T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Right now on True Today, we're going to be giving a ministry update, and I want to take your questions. So please prepare your questions. Put them on the comments if you want, and we'll do our best to answer those questions. And also, we're going to be doing an update on Iran and an update on the continued Islamic takeover of America, folks. We better wake up. This is getting serious. That and much more right now on Truth Today. Well, good afternoon, folks. Good morning, depending on your time zone. Pastor Sharam Hadian here. Thank you guys for being with us today. It's great to be back in studio with you. Was a busy weekend. I just got back last night from Pennsylvania. I was speaking all weekend in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, for a great conference there. And so it was been a busy. Pretty well like 6 out of the last 9 days, because I was in Texas the weekend before. A lot of traveling, a lot of driving, and the events there, and then this weekend up in Quakertown. So I hope you guys, if any of you are interested, if you go to Morning Star Fellowship up there, they had, I believe they recorded the conference on Saturday especially, and I spoke there on, obviously, the battle for America, and then also on the issue of Iran and what's going on in Iran. And so I want to welcome all of you who are joining us live again in studio. My apologies for, again, starting a little bit later today. It was a late night, and so I just needed a little bit more rest this morning and then getting things together. Now, if you guys can do me a favor, if you have, let me know where you're from, also on our live chat on Rumble. And please remember that if you're not on Rumble, we are live streaming to Facebook and to YouTube right now. So if you want to comment, yeah, I'm trying to wonder, Lori, why we're not seeing the Facebook live. I'll have to see. It's supposed to be going to Facebook, but I don't see the Facebook live. And so I will go check that and see if there's something wrong with the Facebook. It says we're live, but I don't know why. Oh, there it is. Now it's there. So if you go down, I think it's the second down on our page on Facebook. So again, but if you go to Rumble, we are on Rumble. Right there's our link. Check it out. And please click join. Remember the red button, click join. And like and share. But I will try to take questions. I want to take questions. If you guys have questions, let's try to put the questions in the comment section so we don't inundate it with too many comments. But if you have questions for me, some of you guys are commenting back and forth already, but if you have questions for me, please let me know, and I will do my best to answer them. I wanted to give you a quick update, obviously, on what's going on in Iran. That is a ever momentary changing situation. And then also an update on the trip. So I'll start with the trip. Again, this was my first time up there in Pennsylvania, that part of Pennsylvania. I've spoken in the western part of Pennsylvania before, but not in kind of the Philadelphia area. So that was good to get there. Great connection with the church over there, with Morning Star Fellowship. Phenomenal people. Such a blessing to be there. By the way, again, if you want to know more about our upcoming events, please go to the tillministry.com/events. I'm going to be back in Minnesota. So in 3 weeks, I'll be in Minnesota for 4 nights. Actually, 3 nights in Minnesota, 1 night in Wilson, Wisconsin. So 4 events there, possibly 5. We're working on a 5th one as we speak. So if you guys are interested in that area, please, we'll get that up here very soon on our events calendar. And then in June, I'm going to be back in North Idaho for 2 events, also possibly an event or 2 in Western Washington. We're going to be going and visiting family there. And meanwhile, we're going to be doing some events there in Western Washington and up in North Idaho. So if you're in those areas, would love to have you guys out to join us. We'll be in Coeur d'Alene area there on Father's Day, speaking at Candlelight Christian Fellowship. So what was really phenomenal is that the folks that invited me there, they are connected. God's really opening doors this year. It's been a good year in the sense of getting to speak to not just groups and some of the Republican groups, activist groups, patriot groups, conservative groups, and some churches. Like this was a brand new church that we were connected with. And it was a blessing. It's such a powerful church. The folks are awake. Pastor John Decker is just an incredible man of God. And it was such an honor and such a blessing to be there, to partner with them. They're on top of things. And the fact that they brought someone like me in, and Andrew Cedra, who is from Australia, he's a Egyptian, former, he's not a Muslim, he was never a Muslim, he's a Christian. But they now live in Australia. So they were telling us about all that's going on in Australia and how bad the situation is in Australia regarding the Islamic takeover. Folks, it is really rapidly increasing, and we got to pray and activate the body of Christ. It is one of the things we discussed was how much the church is not on top of this. They're just not talking about it, or they barely talk about it, but they're not doing anything about it. They're not actually focusing on activating the church and doing some specific things. The group that invited me to come up there, not the church, but the Shield and Truth Network, we talked about possible legislation options, because this year, as you guys know, in January, I was able to visit with the Idaho legislature and with a significant group of their legislators, including their Speaker of the House. And that was phenomenal. And they got American laws for American courts finally passed in Idaho, which prohibits any foreign law in our court systems. So that was a positive step. And next year, I'm hoping to go back to visit with them at the beginning of their session and hit some other ideas that we have, particularly on the area of Sharia, banning Sharia for public accommodation, and outlawing that, or outlining that Sharia is a theocratic form of governance. It is not just a religious law. It is not just a civil law, but it is both. It is a theocratic form of government. So I'm working on that. Then we had the opportunity to several times to speak with Texas legislators. The conference last week was that I had in Tyler, Texas. A lot of folks that are involved very strongly within the Republican Party there were part of that meeting. These are people that are part of the PCOs. These are people that write rules. These are people that write legislation for their legislators, legislative ideas and priorities. So we talked about, again, strategy. These are legislative things that we're trying to do, practical things we're trying to do. So that was phenomenal. And then this weekend, working and talking to folks that are connected to some people in the Pennsylvania legislature, even though, of course, it's majority Democrat. But this is what God is opening. And so we're grateful for that. We praise God for that. We got to continue to pray. We got to continue to pray that we are being proactive. But you know where we're not seeing the level of progress that we need to is in getting into more churches. So again, I'm grateful for this weekend. This was a new church that we connected to. Hopefully it'll be a church that we'll be connected with for a long period of time. And that was a praise. Thank you, Lord. But we need to pray for more open doors. Oh, and by the way, again, last week, right? Not this past week, but the week before that on the 7th, right? I met with some members of the Tennessee legislature and made some good rapport there. And hopefully next year, we're going to have some great strides. And prayerfully, miraculously, if Monty Fritz becomes our governor here in the state of Tennessee, and I want to encourage any of you that are in Tennessee, please go up and get his, go to his website, donate, get his signs, put them out, volunteer. This has got to be an all-out push to get Monty elected. If we have Monty Fritz as our governor, it will be a phenomenal opportunity and shift here in the state of Tennessee. So please, please, please pray for him. And again, I hope all of you guys are on now. We should all be on here. Facebook is live. And Rumble, I'm checking everything there. So thank you guys all. Yes, Monty has a prayer team as well, Rose. And so they're praying for him. He was on national TV this week, got on national TV. And so that's good exposure for him, but we got to pray. So the Lord is opening doors. We're grateful for that. It's been a busier year. We're grateful for that. Of course, our expenses have gone up because of travel and things like that. So again, I ask you guys to please pray for God to continue to provide for the ministry as we go by faith. Oftentimes not asking for anything. If they can, like this past weekend, they were able to cover our travel expenses, but yet then, resources need to come in for the ministry. It's not just travel, that's part of it. So please continue to pray for God's provision, for more partners, as we are in a critical time right now, particularly when it comes to this red-green axis and the Islamic takeover of the world and particularly of America. So thank you guys for that. Later in the summer, more than likely we'll be back up in Idaho. We just got requests there. We're going to be back in Texas. We have several events to probably be doing in Texas in September, October, maybe November timeframe. Of course, October, I'm going to be up in Wisconsin in Milwaukee area, Waukesha area for the Worldview Conference with Brandon House. We got invited to be a part of that. So we're excited to do that. So it'll be a busy year, but just please pray also for my health as I'm doing a little bit better. I'm still waiting on some lab results that I got from this new functional MD that I'm seeing. And we just pray that the Lord would continue to equip and empower all of us to do what we're called to do. Now, quick update on Iran. Let me go back to trying to see if there's any comments on YouTube. Thank you guys all for joining us again. We're so grateful for all of you. But this is one of the latest things that came out from Iran. Iran International is reporting that the president rejected the ceasefire extension as another round of talks are supposed to happen in Pakistan, in Islamabad, which, folks, if we're putting our faith in the country of Pakistan, which is 90% governed by Sharia. It is almost a theocratic government. It is one of the worst persecutors of Christians, top 10 on the planet. And Pakistan is the one who is doing our negotiating for us. Again, I don't understand this. This is not wisdom to negotiate with Pakistan. Again, they're claiming that Vance and Witkoff and Kushner are going over there. But the president rightly is saying, no, we're not going to have ceasefire. They've maintained the blockade, which I had said that they should have done the blockade in and for the Strait of Hormuz towards the beginning. Although they had to degrade, I get it, they had to degrade Iran's navy. They had to degrade their missile capacity. Otherwise, that strait is heavily fortified by Iran. So I get that they had to do all that first. But now they have this blockade. This is actually a good thing, even though the Iranian people are suffering as a result of the economic situations, and they have been suffering. But folks, please understand that this is what the majority of the Iranian people are ready to do. They're ready to do whatever it takes, whatever level of suffering, to bring this regime down. Prices have skyrocketed. To get medical care is waning in Iran. Reports have come out that even just getting treated for a flu, a cold, getting antibiotics, getting your medicine, basic food, prices have skyrocketed. Bread, staples, things that are just daily basic things, rice have skyrocketed. But this is the way to choke off the regime. This is because listen, whatever you're hearing out there with this guy Ghalibaf, that is the guy that's now going. He's the head of the parliament. So Ghalibaf, these guys go back, folks, all the way back to the early stages of this regime in 1979. Ghalibaf was there when the Iranians took the American embassy hostage. These guys have blood on their hands. None of these people are moderate, are anybody that can be trusted. They all have to be removed. So why the United States continues to negotiate? Maybe it's because, to give the benefit of the doubt, well, we're going to show that Iran are liars, that this regime lies, that Islam lies, that they cannot be trusted, that their ceasefire lasts all of 2 days? Not even. And we got to finish the job. We got to get it so the Iranian people can rise up and take their nation back. But Iran is not being run by Ghalibaf. Iran is not being run by Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of Ali Khamenei, who was killed on February 28th. Iran is right now splintered. It is under a military control under the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That is dangerous, obviously. It's a dangerous situation because basically imagine if militias were running any country. That is dangerous. But that is as a result of the fact that the leadership has been splintered. There is an internal conflict going on between the likes of Ghalibaf and others who are wanting to survive. Pezeshkian, the president of Iran, they're wanting to survive. They're trying to negotiate in order to survive. And the fundamentalist, we use the term extremist, the fundamentalist IRGC leadership, that if they had their way, they would burn Iran down before they will surrender. So you cannot negotiate with this enemy. You cannot negotiate with this evil. And the president urged, do I have that there? I thought I brought in, I did not, I guess, bring that in. Trump urges the release of 8 women. By the way, the regime just executed yesterday or today another young man who was claimed to be a ringleader of the January protest in his 20s. So they continue to execute. They continue to kill. We still have blackouts happening in Iran. We still do not know the total massacre numbers, but Iran is scheduled to execute 8 women. Here they are. The Islamic Republic occupying Iran is preparing to hang 8 women. And the world says nothing, no outrage, no action, no spine from the international community, the so-called human rights crowd, or even the Pope. Yeah, where's the Pope? Where is all the pro-Hamas people? 8 young, beautiful women. The one on the top, well, the way I'm looking at it is top right, but yours probably top left with the blonde hair. Her and her husband are set to be executed for participating in protests, unarmed, and simply trying to get their country back. So Trump says to the Iranian leaders who will soon be in negotiations with my representatives, I would greatly appreciate the release of these women. Please do not harm them. It would be a great start to our negotiations. So now we're begging them rather than saying, you know, back in January, he said, if you execute these people, we're locked and loaded. But now we have to beg them, listen, let's have good negotiations. Okay, I know some of you are going to say, listen, that's just the way Trump talks. That's just the public. That's just whatever. All right. But I'm telling you, folks, the Iranian people will never, ever, ever go for this. They will never go for anybody in this regime. They will never go for any deals. There is one option and one option alone. Reza Pahlavi must be the transitional leader. The world must recognize him as a transitional leader. They must stop this negotiations. Keep the blockade going. Keep the blockade going because the strait is closed again. That should not. The only reason why our prices are so high is because we are going based on not the actual supply of oil, but because of the markets. All our oil prices are doing are just simply responding to the markets rather than actually saying, oh, we need the oil. No, we don't need the oil from the Strait of Hormuz. It is China and Russia that needs the oil. It is the exports of oil that the United Arab Emirates and Qatar and Oman and the Saudis and Bahrain and Kuwait, they need that oil money. They are pushing to negotiate with Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz and giving another lifeline and releasing $20 billion of assets to this regime. They need it. The Chinese need it. Not us. Not Israel. So I'm like, finish the job by cutting off the money. Cut off the money. The butchers and the thugs and the militias that Iran has imported from Iraq, from Pakistan, from Afghanistan, who are a bunch of Arab thugs who hate the Persian people, they are being paid. Cut off their money, cut off their supplies, cut off their funding, and see how fast they will flip. At the end of the day, yes, they're motivated by ideology, but they still got to eat. They still got to pay their bills, so to speak. So, Mechanic 350, I'm going to go to this question here since it's related to Iran. The issue is not that they're unable to find them and eliminate them. They have eliminated the upper 3 levels of leadership in the regime, including in the IRGC, because of Israeli intelligence. The issue is that they are not, right now, they're on a pause. America has forced Israel to stop taking out the leadership. And by the way, the way that Iran structured their military leadership was that in the event of attacks, it would be decentralized. So even if you take up the upper leadership, because you have bases and you have command structures all over the country, they're basically operating by themselves. The IRGC in these areas are operating almost as independent units or independent entities without any oversight, because it's all decentralized, because they're not communicating per se. That's why there's a rift inside the country. That's why Ghalibaf, who's the head of the parliament, and Pezeshkian, who's the president, they claim they have power, but they don't. They claim they're negotiating, but then as soon as they negotiate something, supposedly, what did the IRGC do? The IRGC attacked ships in the Strait of Hormuz. That broke up the ceasefire. It is splintered. It is collapsing. It is coming down. It is just a matter of time if we do not give Iran the regime another lifeline. If we stop throwing them a rope, let them collapse. So the Israelis know where the leadership is, and they're sharing that information with U.S. intelligence and the U.S. military. The problem is that right now, as a result of the ceasefire, they've been given an order not to touch them. And so if you're not going to physically take them out, you got to cash starve them. And that's why I thought the blockade was the right thing. And maybe they couldn't do it sooner because they had to completely debilitate the Navy and the ballistic missile capabilities around that area of the Strait of Hormuz. It's very mountainous in that bottom part of Iran there. Bandar Pahlavi is the place that I went as a child. We stayed there. In fact, when I was there as a child, that one night we were there was an earthquake. I vividly remember being woken up in the middle of the night and the ground was shaking. There was an earthquake. So I visited Bandar Pahlavi, which is right there down just kind of northwest of the Strait of Hormuz there. But it's very mountainous area. And the regime has all these caves and all these things that they built. Look, when you've been around for 47 years, you've had time to fortify yourself for this very moment that they're trying to fight for their survival. So I think that the U.S. had to completely destroy or mostly destroy their ballistic missile capability. That's why, have you seen a lot of missiles raining down on Israel? Have you seen a lot of missiles raining down? No. Supposedly it's because they're in the ceasefire. But the reality is, no, they've actually decimated their missile capabilities now and their Navy. Yes, they have these small little boats left, because they can pretty well put any boat in the water and attack ships with it. But their Navy was destroyed for the most part. And that is, what is very much at stake there. So, all right, let's get to some of these. By the way, quick update on the takeover of America. I wanted to share this with you guys. I got something, another exciting thing, another ministry update that I forgot that I want to introduce to you guys. I kept this kind of under wraps, but we, meaning me, was invited, our ministry, to be a part of a new documentary that's coming out. And here's the name of this documentary. It is called The Great American Conflict, The Clash of the Cultures. And it's between it's between America and Islam. So this is a documentary that is exposing the Islamic takeover of America and the West. Now, it was presented and put together by a ministry called Iran Alive, Dr. Hormuz Shariat, that is based out of Dallas, Texas area. And you see the list of people, Brigitte Gabriel, Lily Ritchie, Dr. Hormuz is in it, Shah Ahmadi, and then myself, Barbara Isaacs. And so I was interviewed, and I'm going to share this with you guys, and I'm going to play a little clip for you as an update here of this documentary, and go to the part where I'm in it. This is Brigitte Gabriel. I'm going to go right here and start about 11 minutes in. So this is on YouTube. You can go watch it right now. It's unlisted for the moment. The Great American Conflict. I encourage you guys to go share this link. Let's watch a little bit of this. People might call me an Islamophobe for what I'm about to say, but because of the fact that if a Muslim is practicing, they're practicing Sharia. Sharia encompasses every area of their lives: religious, dietary, governmental, criminal, civil, marriage, custody, education. Every area is governed by Sharia. Therefore, my view has been that no Muslim should be allowed to hold office in the United States of America, whether at the federal level, state level, local level, doesn't matter. Here's why. Because Sharia not only is incompatible with the Constitution of the United States and the state constitutions, but Sharia must overthrow those things. In order for Sharia to govern, like it is in many Muslim countries, you look at Afghanistan, you look at Iran, you look at Pakistan, Sharia governs in those nations. It's the government. It's not just a separate religious system. It's the government. Therefore, if a Muslim like Zoran Mamdani, if a Muslim like Keith Ellison in Minnesota, if a Muslim, the one who just got elected as the lieutenant governor of Virginia, they must, when they get to that upper house or that upper hand, when they have control, they must, it's not an option, they must govern by Sharia, which, by the way, we already see in places like Hamtramck, Michigan, or Dearborn, Michigan, where they have the Islamic call of prayer being broadcast. We are bending a knee and allowing them to broadcast their Islamic call of prayer on loudspeakers in cities across this nation, Minneapolis, New York, in Texas, in Michigan. And as such, that prayer is a prayer of supremacy. That prayer says there is no God but Allah. If Islam is governing, they would not allow any other religion to be elevated. Their goal is to sabotage our nation from within. So we've allowed them. We have allowed the enemy. We've opened the doors of our nation. We've allowed them to come in. We've allowed them to have positions of authority and power like Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib in Congress. They hate America. They allow, like in Dearborn, Michigan, chants of death to America. Meanwhile, they're systematically taking us over. They're systematically getting footholds in our education, in the media, in our healthcare, in the government, in our churches. And as such, we are actually committing national suicide.
With Sharia law, they do believe in wife beating. They believe.
I will stop there and come back to me. So that is a documentary that I think is going to be very good. Now, Pookie L7, thank you for bringing up this question. I did not, again, this documentary was put on by Iran Alive. I appreciate Iran Alive's ministry. I've known Dr. Hormuz for years. I mean, we haven't necessarily worked together. I was trying to get together with him when I was in Dallas last weekend. It didn't work out, but I'm putting the link, guys, in the, let me put this link right here. So I just put the link to the documentary on YouTube. I just went to it myself. It's there. It's a final cut, The American Conflict. And you guys can go and watch it while it's there. Share the link, please. Now, here is the heads up. I was not in any way responsible for who they selected. And yes, personally, I'm not a supporter any longer of Brigitte Gabriel. I used to work with Act for America for many, many years. Phenomenal people at the grassroots level, many of whom I'm still friends with. But many of those people left Act for America because Brigitte Gabriel, who Act for America at that time had been very solid about fighting the Islamic takeover of the West and of America, began to introduce people into their platform like Zuhdi Jasser. And Zuhdi Jasser Zuhdi Jasser claims to be a Muslim reformer. He claims that they can reform Islam. And so Brigitte Gabriel got behind this concept. Now remember, she's not a former Muslim. She was raised in Lebanon. She was a Christian. As a former Muslim, I can tell you there is no reform of Islam. You can't reform something that is demonic, that is an antichrist spirit. And ideologically, you can't reform it, because the concept of those who claim reforming is that they want to go back to the early verses of the Quran, the more tolerant concept of Islam that was more in a place of coexisting. Surah chapter 2 in the Quran, the early verses talking about there's no compulsion in religion. We're not going to try to force anybody to convert to Islam. We're just another religion. The idea that Muslims can take Christians and Jews as friends and coexist, which all of that is abrogated later in the Quran. All of that was abrogated by Muhammad's example. The problem with this concept of that's how you reform Islam. And by the way, our friend Hedia Miramati, right, who I have on the show, right, she says in her own testimony that when she was a Muslim working in the State Department, working in the government, she was one of those Muslims that was trying to, quote, reform Islam. And when she became a Christian, she realized there's no reforming Islam. There is no reform, because if Muhammad claimed that the verses abrogated and changed, and the verses became more violent and more compulsive, and now you got to force people to convert or die or fight, well, the only way to go back to early verses is you have to claim that his later revelation was false, that he did not get the abrogated verses, that those verses are not from, quote, God or Allah. But the moment that you discredit Muhammad's later revelation, you have to discredit his earlier revelation. Because his earlier revelation, which he is the only eyewitness to, claimed that he was a prophet and that he was the final prophet. And that Jesus came, Isa, in the Quran. Remember Tucker's thing that we covered last week? Esteeming the Muslim Jesus? Jesus came, they claim, to be a forerunner for Muhammad. So Muhammad claims he's the final prophet and that everything that he's giving you is the final revelation. And he claims that there are latter verses that supersede or abrogate the early verses and that are much more violent and aggressive and forceful, and strike them by their necks and subjugate them. Surah chapter 9, fight the people of the book, Jews and Christians. Then, therefore, the only way you can abrogate, or the only way you can reform Islam is to deny Muhammad. The only way, if you deny Muhammad, there is no Islam, because he's the only one who got the revelation. So, yeah, exactly. TPUSA is also supporting Jasser. And that's a problem, because they are claiming that there's some peaceful version of Islam somewhere. Now, is Zuhdi Jasser violent and want to kill Christians and Jews? I don't think so. He served in the U.S. military. I don't think that he has that intent from everything that I've seen. He could be a closet jihadist. I don't know 100%, but from what I've seen overtly, but he is a deceived human being. He is confused. There is no reform of Islam. And for that reason, I stopped working with Act for America. So yeah, I was not the most thrilled that Brigitte Gabriel was going to be in this, but I think that what she says so far that I've seen of it, and I'll watch the whole thing. If you guys see any clips that you have problems with, send it to me and I'll address it. I'm trying to see what the second part of what you said. Usama Dat Dog. Usama spoken for Act for America. I've spoken again many times. Years I spent working with Act for America, and so that's really important to understand that. No, I do not in any way, shape, or form support Act for America anymore. I do not in any way, shape, or form support the reform movement. It's impossible. It will never. It's like us asking Satan to be reformed. Hey, if we just reform Satan, we just take him back to the original before he, rebelled against God. Maybe he'll, turn his way. No. So that's important. By the way, thank you, Pukiel, for talking about the update that I mentioned to the folks on Saturday when I was at the conference, that Bucky Carlson was let go or fired from working on J.D. Vance's staff. This is an interesting development because I'm very concerned about J.D. Vance and the element of this, that Groypers, right? That's the Christian nationalist, hyper Christian. Now, I don't mean Christian nationalists as in I'm a Christian, I love America, and I believe in national sovereignty. That's biblical nationalism. Christian nationalism, to their extent, is they want a Christian theocracy. They want to overthrow our constitutional republic and set up a Christian theocracy under Christian rule, but their version of Christianity. Their Christian nationalist replacement theology, all the Jews are evil. So Nick Fuentes is one of those Groypers. Tucker Carlson is in that camp. The Mike Adams, the Stu Peters, the obviously the Candace Owens. So that's all. And by the way, if you go watch our show on Thursday that I did with Shane Rothman, who is a Messianic Jew, we talked about Tucker, Muslim Jesus, all this stuff. So I hope you guys, if you got to go back and watch that from Thursday night. Pookie, did Usama expose Brigitte on Brandon last night? Is that what you're saying? I didn't watch it, so let me know if Usama exposed Brigitte's reform, thing. So, okay, good. That's good. I'm glad that he did. So, yeah, and honestly, I just don't think, I did not know that they had, because when they asked me to come on board to do this documentary, Brigitte was not part of the list. It was at the very end that they added her, and I had already done the interviews. I'd already agreed. And again, I'll watch the documentary in detail. It just came out yesterday. He just sent me the link yesterday, and we'll address it. I'll address it on Thursday and make sure that if there's anything in there, and I'll mention that to them. But Iran Alive and Dr. Hormuz Shariat is very solid. Their ministry is very solid. They do a lot of evangelism to Iranians, to Muslim who are from Iran, from Persia, bringing them to Christ. And it is a good ministry. But it's unfortunate that they did go after Brigitte Gabriel, but they wanted to get a name. So we'll see. But Lord willing, the Lord can use the documentary. And again, it is called The Great American Conflict, the Clash of the Cultures. And Lord willing, it could use to wake up some people to what the Islamic takeover is. Speaking of the Islamic takeover, did you guys see this? Man, Paterson, New Jersey, joining the list there with insanity. I want to play the clip of this for you guys, of this video, where they raised the Jordanian flag in the city of Paterson, New Jersey, which, by the way, their Muslim mayor declared Paterson, New Jersey, to be the capital of Palestine. So let me share this with you, and we're going to scroll down here on Rare Foundation. And here's the article. There's the video. I'm going to play this video. And this is happening all over America. All these celebrations, all these flag raisings. I mean, what on earth? Watch this here. And I'm gonna fast forward through some of this. I'm not gonna. Raising the flag of Jordan over the city hall, recognizing the country of Jordan. Okay, you get the idea there. Moving forward. In America, folks. This is Patterson, New Jersey. This is outside City Hall. Funny, none of them like raised the Persian flag, right? None of them support Iran and the people of Iran, but we're supporting Hamas, Gaza, Jordan.
Salam alaikum. It is a great day in Patterson.
That's
Why
the
don't
deputy
you just
mayor.
give yourselves a
That's
round
the
of
deputy
applause?
mayor of Patterson, I believe.
We are so grateful to be here for flag raising. And at this time, please prepare yourselves to receive our mayor, Mayor Andre Saya.
Wearing that keffiyeh around his neck.
السلام عليكم. كلكم مبسوطين؟ وانا
I
كمان
don't speak
مبسوطين.
Arabic. I need to.
مرتي اسمها فرحانة، كلنا مبسوطة. أنا ابن عرب، نص لبناني نص سوري. أمي من حلب وأبوي من بيروت. بس اليوم دمي أردني. وفلسطيني too. We're here to witness history, raising the Jordanian flag here in the city of Patterson. And it is a proud moment for all of us, so that one day perhaps we could go visit the beautiful country of Jordan and see Petra, one of the 7 wonders of the world, and to see the Dead Sea and the Black Sea and all that Jordan has to offer, and eat mensef in Jordan as well. MashaAllah.
Wow.
And kanafe. So today, we are honored to have with us our deputy mayor, who's a proud Palestini, Yalla Zetfu. Deputy Mayor Ryan Ola.
So I guess that deputy mayor was, that was not the deputy mayor. So deputy mayor is actually from Palestine. Great. Is a so-called Palestinian from Palestine. And then I was going to share this with you guys that just so you understand those colors in Islam, I've mentioned this before, the black in the Islamic flag that ISIS, right? You like the ISIS flag is black, right? That's the Abbasid Caliphate. That's a flag of the Islamic Caliphate. The white is the Umayyad Caliphate, and the green is called the Fatimid Caliphate. So the article goes through that, mentioned the Quranic verses. You heard him say Hamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, which means praise be to Allah. This is the mayor and the deputy mayor. They've taken over these cities. They're taking over the politics. Meanwhile, we sit here and do what? We sit here and just say, no, everything's good, no problem. Here's another article. Practicing Muslims cannot disavow Sharia even if they wanted to. This is what I've been saying for a long time. This is a professor at Georgetown University, Washington Post columnist Shadi Hamid. I covered this in my article or my presentation last weekend, that this idea of banning Sharia, by the way, Chip Roy, did I bring that in there or not? I don't think I did. Nope, that's not it. Chip Roy who is the head of he is leading that Sharia Free Caucus, which now I think is up to like 65 members in Congress. They are pushing for denaturalization and deportation of Marxists and Muslims. He has coined this the Mamdani Act, and that they must be denaturalized and deported. Rep. Chip Roy from Texas introduced legislation Monday aimed at barring the admission, naturalization, and continued residence of individuals affiliated with certain extremist or totalitarian ideologies. The measure against Marxism's dangerous adherents and noxious Islamists, they came up with those terms to spell the word Mamdani. measure against Marxism's dangerous adherents and noxious Islamists. Wow. Would amend federal immigration law to prohibit admission or naturalization in the country of any alien who is or has been a member or advocate of various extremist groups, Breitbart reported. This includes any alien who's a member of the Socialist Party, Communist Party, the Chinese Communist Party, Islamic Fundamentalist Party, advocates of socialism, communism, Marxism, or Islamic fundamentalism. So this is good. This is really good. However, again, more than likely, they don't have yet the support in the House. Certainly, they don't have the support in the Senate. And I don't know if Trump would sign something like this, but this is where the conversation has got to go. The conversation has got to go towards this area where we got to start fighting with gloves off and understand how serious this is. Let me get to your comments. Critical Common Sense, you asked a question about 2024 documentary, The BB Files. If you could send me the link, email me the link at info, I will look at that. I know the second time you brought that up. And we can look at it and see. I'd have to scrutinize it, look at it, and see what this is talking about. What are we as Christian Zionists supposed to think about the videos we have seen with IDF soldiers raping and torturing and killing Palestinians, including children? Please, again, if you can send those links to me, I would need to look and verify those. As you guys know, over the weekend, or maybe it was Friday, video emerged or pictures emerged of an IDF soldier in Lebanon destroying a statue of Jesus from a Catholic church. The IDF, the Israeli prime minister, came out and uniformly denounced that, uniformly said that this is absolutely not in line with our values, that in Israel, now remember, this happened in Lebanon, but yet it was an IDF soldier. We don't know if this IDF soldier was a Muslim, because we have to understand that there are a certain number of IDF soldiers that are Muslim. So it could have been someone that was trying to give the IDF a bad name by destroying a statue, or it could have been a Jewish person who doesn't like Jesus. Either way, both the IDF leadership and the Prime Minister of Israel 100% denounced that, called it out, said it will not be tolerated, it will be investigated, and they will be punished. So I do not think this is a systematic problem in Israel. I have several friends who live in Israel, including my friend Ramin Parsa, who I had on the show, who is a Iranian Christian married to a Jewish Messianic believer. And we talked to him about this last time he was on, as far as the aspect of what it's like for Christians. Listen, as a Christian, if I was living in the Middle East, the only country I would want to live in as a Christian is in Israel. That's just fact. You could not pay me enough, unless the Lord called me, to live in any other Muslim country surrounding Israel: Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, Iran, in its current state, Saudi Arabia, Arab Emirates, Doha. So, the aspect, I want to see the evidence, guys. If you post stuff on here, please provide the links, because that's obviously a very, very serious allegation. And I want to see the evidence so we can look at it. And if it is something that the IDF legitimately did, then we will absolutely address that. Trying to see if there's other questions on here. Razzle dazzle. Again, one of the things that I've told people is the way to ban Sharia is we have to be very specific with our language. We have to ban any public accommodation of Sharia, because since Sharia includes the so-called religious components, if you try to ban all of Sharia, you're saying we're going to ban Islam. And the Muslims and all their leftist allies and all their lawyers will say, that's a violation of the First Amendment. We're a religion. We're protected. I think it's a non-starter in our current political and rogue judicial state. They will not have a hard time finding a judge to strike down any bill that would ban all of Sharia. So we ban public accommodation. We ban any aspect of Sharia that is already against our laws: multiple wives, child brides, female genital mutilation, honor killing, lesser treatment of women than men, lesser value, child custody. I mean, there's already so much, but we also ban public accommodation. We keep getting word that, the government keeps bending over backwards. For example, in Minnesota, I saw on Facebook last night that a school district is building prayer rooms and prayer washing places for Muslim students at taxpayer expenses. That should not be allowed, because that is specific endorsement of Islam by government, taxpayer funded. That's the stuff that should be banned and outlawed. Any public accommodation of Sharia. And also, I encourage the folks again in Texas who are working on legislation, put in there that Sharia is a theocratic form of government. Theocratic. And then explain what a theocracy is. I already have the language, and Lord willing, by next year, we're going to work on that legislation. I have not heard about this guy from Nevada being an advisor to Tucker. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's keep going. Let me see. Pastor Trump, I think we should have tens of thousands of AI drones surveilling the country of Iran, watching where these missile launchers. I believe they already have those underway. The problem is these drones are very expensive, and they can actually use drones to hit these targets. They don't even need to have jets in the air to hit them, but they're very expensive. But yeah, I agree. There should be that level of surveillance. And let's see if there's anything else. Lori, that's a great point again with TPUSA. I've been very concerned with TPUSA in regards to two things. One, ecumenicalism. They are trying to bring Catholics and Mormons and evangelicals and whoever else together for the sake of political, and yet they claim that they have this faith branch where they're trying to bring faith into it. And I do think that they've taken Charlie's platform now. And unfortunately, if they bring in people like Zuhdi Jasser, they'll promote this false version of Islam. They'll claim that there's this peaceful version of Islam, and that will be that for TPUSA, just like I think Act for America suffered a huge blow when it went down. Now, it's still surviving. It's still there, but it suffered a huge blow. Pookie Usama made a good point. Muslims in both Democrats and now Republicans. What do you think will happen? Yes, that's exactly what I've been saying, is that I've been very concerned about the Islamic infiltration within the Republican Party, within conservative movement. That's been happening for years, by the way. They've already, look, the Democrat Party is now Democrat socialist. They're full-on socialist. That's not hard, because we know the Marxists and socialists work with the Muslims. The issue is the Republican Party. And that's where they have infiltrated. That's where they've taken over. That's what they've done in Michigan. In Minnesota, they're doing it. And federally, they're doing it. So that's very concerning. Speaking of Jordan, did you watch Melania, the Muslim queen of Jordan, met with her last year at Mar-a-Lago? Trumps are in on the globalist agenda, one world order, and interfaith evil deception. Yeah, that's very concerning. Very concerning, because remember, the faith office in the White House, led by Paula White, his spiritual advisor, it is interfaith. By the way, did you guys see? Let me look this up. Did you guys see Paula White meeting with the Buddhist monks. Let me see if I can pull this up. Some images here that happened last week. This was let me see if I can screen share this here real quick. This was at the White House. What a great weekend at the White House Faith Office. Let me bring this up here so you guys can see this. So what my point is, the Faith Office is the interfaith office. So here is Paula White and Jenny Korn, right? Thinking like she's some hipster at the White House. Why did that not open? 1 second. Oh, you know what? Let me share the other one. That's not the one I wanted to share. Let's go to this screen share on Instagram right here. Okay, now you guys should be able to see that. There we go. And now, let me see if this will. She was meeting with some Christian leaders. Okay, so you guys see that she's meeting with Christian leaders, but then she also met with. Look at this. So she had a meeting with Buddhist leaders in the White House, and here are they're doing their little Buddhist prayer thing. And here's a picture of Paula White saying namaste or whatever they're saying. Oh, isn't that great? That's the spiritual advisor to the president. That's a Christian leader doing the Buddhist handshake or hand position and their prayers. So this faith office is not a faith of Christianity office. This faith office, there's Jenny Korn right in the middle. This is the interfaith office. It is compromised. Totally. 100%. Yes, that was good that they're doing the Bible reading. Sean, we have to give props to Bunny Pounds for implementing DC to read the Bible in 7 days. Trump will read 2 Chronicles 7. Yes. So let's pray that it's genuine. Let's pray that if they read 2 Chronicles 7:14 or 7:11 through 22 today at 6 p.m. Eastern time, let's pray that it's genuine. You guys are absolutely correct. Islam is a cult. Islam is hiding behind the religious veil. All of it. Critical common sense. If you can just email it to info, I'll put the email there. And so I can really look at those. There's our email. Thank you, guys. All right, we got to go. It's 1 hour. Thank you guys for being with us today. Good questions, good discussion. I hope that give you a little bit of an update today on the ministry. Latest from Iran. Please continue to pray for it to finish. Please pray they would not stop until the collapse of this regime. It is the best thing for the world. It's the best thing for America. It's the best thing for Israel. It's the best thing for the Christians. Whatever window of opportunity God gives. We know Persia is in Bible prophecy, but I believe with all my heart that this is an opportunity for a window of openness in Iran where the gospel can go forth, where the Iranian Christians can bring forth the gospel, send missionaries out, not just in Iran, but to the rest of the Middle East. Could be an incredible opportunity. And so please pray for God's will to be done. And then I'll be back with you on Thursday. I'll look over the documentary again. Tell me what you guys think. Watch it. Give me some comments on Thursday. Tell me if you think that it is good or not. And I think that they have several clips of me in the documentary. We'll see, Lord willing, that it could be used for good. Thank you guys for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Again, if anybody wants to do a ministry support to keep us going with this busy schedule this year and travel and all that stuff, please do so right there at tillministry.com/donate, tilministry.com//donate. You can make a one-time donation online. You can mail a check, or you can join our Gideon army of 300 that choose to support us on a monthly basis. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for praying for God's will. And thank you for being faithful to the Lord. Let us not compromise our faith and the truth, even for political expediency or for a seat at the table. I will continue to call out false teachers like Paula White, false prophets. I will continue to call out things that do not align with God's word. And so we seek to be on the side of truth. And just again, as Israel goes, folks, I do not blanket support the Israeli government. There are evil forces within the Israeli government. There are evil forces within the U.S. government and every government on the planet. But remember, as a biblical Zionist, I support Israel's right to the land and the return and the rebirth of the nation. That is God's prophetic timetable, timing, promises. He's fulfilling his word. Israel is there in unbelief, right? They're a very secular country. They have a large homosexual population. They have a large abortion on demand. Here's my question. How is that different than America? Do we have any moral high horse to point a finger at Israel and claim they're so bad? We have historic abortion rates. We have transgenderism. We're mutilating our children. We are steeped in sexual pride. By the way, positive note here in the state of Tennessee, our governor voted or signed, I should say, the law to declare the month of June as Nuclear Family Month. So they're doing away with Pride Month in the month of June here in Tennessee, and they're going with Nuclear Family Month. That is a good thing. And I believe that was as a direct result of Representative Monty Fritz putting forth the resolution for the month of July to become 2 years in a row now, to become a month of prayer and fasting to the Lord Jesus Christ. That's actually in a resolution here in Tennessee. And now they've declared the month of June to be a month for the nuclear family. That means a mom and a dad, a man and a woman together with children as God intends. That is good news. That gives us hope to continue to fight. So thank you guys for that. So do you be funding all these foreign country objectives? Well, it's different between funding razzle dazzle. Like, I actually think Israel should be on its own. I think Israel should build their own weapons, have their own ammunition, not rely on the United States, because they have a right to defend themselves. And so don't rely on any other country, just like America shouldn't rely on any other country. But what's happening in Iran is more humanitarian. It is our role in exercising civil authority and the sword, so to speak. Romans 13. When we see the level of butchery and oppression, and by the way, this is the nation and its regime that has threatened and killed Americans for 47 years. So it's not like they haven't done anything to us. So understand that I believe this is a moral obligation to support the freedom movement in Iran. Not that we get to pick their leaders. I don't want America to pick Iran's leaders. Let the Iranian people do it. I don't want America to regime build. But in this case, you're defending the unarmed, just like we did with the Jews when they were being slaughtered during the Holocaust. So America first means that we are that city on a hill, and we must do what is righteous. It doesn't mean we cut ourselves off from anything else in the world, because those things affect America. So I'm not an isolationist. I am America first. I do believe we got to take care of our homeland. But in this case, helping Iran is not a non-America first policy. It is actually helping America in the long term, and it is recompense for what this regime has done to America and to American lives for 47 years, including Iranian lives and others, but certainly American lives. Other presidents should have taken this action a long time ago. They didn't. They passed the buck. They pushed it down the road, and now someone had to act. So I'm grateful the president acted, but we got to make sure we don't stop until they're done. All right. God bless you guys. I got to go. We'll see you next time on Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, Lord willing, right here on Truth Today. Have a blessed rest of your week. Stay true and faithful. Pray for God's wisdom and discernment. You guys have a great rest of your day. God bless.